it's an exploration really about healing and pain and scars and healing right and healing wrong, because I think there's a lot of different ways to heal.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we've been waiting for, it feels like years now, for Batman 3 Jokers from Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok to come out. And we've been seeing Jason Fabok has been teasing art that he's been working on for the past year now. Finally, we have a concrete release date. We have some information, and with me to talk about it today, good friend from the Real Comic Book Gamer, Dylan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on here to talk something really cool. So, Jason Fabok went on, did some interviews, and apparently the reason it's taken so long is because it's completely finished. There will be no delays. There will be nothing kind of like Doomsday Clock, where there were delays in production. It kept getting delayed. And I believe a 1-year miniseries ended up taking about 3, because it's completely finished. What do you think about the news that they decided to complete the book before they even solicited the first issue?
I think that's really smart. That's definitely a smart move, because Doomsday Clock, amazing book, still sold really well, but a lot of the hype died off. There were so many people I knew that were just like, I'm just going to wait for all 12 issues to come out. I'm just going to wait for trade, and weren't really keeping up with it, even though everyone should have, because it was an amazing book, because it just kept getting delayed. And so this way you keep the hype train going. As much as it's been a while since Three Jokers was first, mentioned in Justice League, once the book drops, I think everyone will be into it, and it'll keep the hype going, and we can actually have something to look forward to, instead of, oh no, when is this next issue actually going to come out, like Doomsday Clock, when it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. I think this was a really smart move on their part.
So I think a lot of people are initially interested in it because Jeff Johns' name is attached to it, but it's really been Jason Fabok been doing the heavy lifting. He's been doing all the teaser art. The first thing that pops out that we've gotten this week is those 3 just beautiful covers. I think it's actually 4 beautiful covers. What do you think about that cover art, man?
Oh my gosh, they're so good. All of it looks amazing. My favorite's probably him with the crowbar, Joker with the crowbar. So good, so like sadistically evil looking. And then you have the B cover to that, which is Batman covered in blood. So you have the Joker holding up a crowbar covered in blood, assuming he just beat Jason Todd to death with it, and then Batman covered in that same blood, just not looking amused at all. And it is, oh my gosh, like Jason Fabok, if there's one word I could use to describe his art, it would be clean. Everything he draws just looks so clean, and it looks amazing.
So the covers weren't the only thing that we saw. We also got, it looks to be 3 pages of sequential art. No words, so we haven't gotten anything from Jeff Johns yet, as far as the content of the book. But it looks like Batman is gravely, maybe mortally injured, at the gravestone of his father. He makes it back into the Batcave, and Alfred's waiting to maybe do some surgery on him. What do you think about those? I thought they just looked dynamite.
Yeah, they look awesome. He just crashes straight into the gravestone too, like no brakes or nothing. He just crashes straight into it. But yeah, we get a nice look at the Batcave. Jason Fabok talked in that article about how this was, the panel layouts and everything were definitely very inspired by The Killing Joke. He had a copy of it next to him the whole time he was drawing it to draw inspiration, saying similar to what they did with Doomsday Clock, where they modeled that sort of after how Dave Gibbons did his panel layouts. So I'm interested to see how that goes, see what he does doing some imitation there. But yeah, it looks great. Like, again, everything here looks awesome. I like the bat suit as well. We got the classic yellow symbol there, so that looks pretty dope. I'm excited.
One of the interesting parts about this is that the theory or the idea of the 3 Jokers, which we're about to get into, is introduced in continuity. It was introduced in the New 52 and as well as Rebirth. But this is a Black Label story. Does that cause you give you concern, or do you think it's fine that Black Label is probably the place for Batman 3 Jokers, even though it feels like it probably should be in continuity?
So coming off the heels of Justice League and going into Rebirth, I thought it should have been in continuity. But now with all the crap going on with King and Bendis, and now Tynan doing his own thing with Joker War, I think it makes sense to do Black Label, because we're so far away from that issue of Justice League where it was revealed and everything that happened with Rebirth. We're so far away from that where it's like, okay, it makes sense to make a Black Label now. So that way, if it's so good that the fans love it and it sticks, you can do like Killing Joke and make it continuity. But if not, then you can be like, okay, here's a really good side story, but it doesn't really make sense in continuity, so we're just going to have it out in continuity. I think now it makes sense. Again, if this would have come out like a few months, even a year after that Justice League issue, I feel like it should have been continuity. But at this point, it's taken so long to where it's like, okay, I can understand, kind of going out and being like, let's make it not continuity and then see how it goes from there.
This book was one of the original titles that was announced when they talked about Black Label. It's going to be produced in the premium, format, a larger stock, better quality cover, more page count. So it's going to be a $7 comic book. So I don't want people to maybe be surprised when this book comes out in June. It is going to be a little bit more expensive, but some of these books have been really great. Like, I don't think Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity should have been released in that format. It should be more expensive. That's not a quality comic book writer who basically has no history with the characters or anything. But I think this is tailor-made, Black Label, premium format, more pages, a better quality for Jeff Johns and a Jason Fabok, for a story that we've been waiting on for years.
Agreed. It's two A-list comic book guys that just always kill it with everything they do and are so consistent. Yeah, this is definitely something that deserves that premium treatment. Like, I agree there, where I believe the premium format should be saved for those guys that are going to deliver. Like with Joker Killer Smile, you have a great creative team with Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Those are guys that are going to kill it. You don't really want to do it with someone who doesn't really have a history with the characters or isn't really guaranteed to, put out a banger. So, yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, so that original, the first one they released, Batman Damned, that Lee Bermeo art, like, it belonged in that format.
Yeah, so good. He had done that before with the Joker and Lex Luthor stories. Those were like in the absolute format when they did those in the hardcover versions, and it's so gorgeous.
I couldn't be more excited. This is something that I've been waiting for, been really excited for. We've been waiting for this for years. So if some viewers maybe aren't completely familiar with the idea of three Jokers, it came out, as you mentioned, like in a Justice League story where basically Batman sits on the Mobius chair and he becomes aware that three different people are using the Joker persona or the Joker makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he sits on the Mobius chair, and for those that don't know about the Mobius chair, it basically grants you all the knowledge in the universe, and so he's immediately like, who is Joker? And of course, we don't get to hear the Thing's response, and then Hal sort of asks him, like, what's going on, and Batman goes up to him, he's like, the Thing told me there's three Jokers. And then it's sort of like, I believe the issue ends there. And that's where I was like, what does that even mean? How are there three Jokers? But I guess it would make sense for, how different he is. But at the same time, you have Morrison's interpretation, which was Joker reinvents himself like every so-and-so years just to give Batman even more of a test. But here is not the case where they're actually three different people. I wonder how they're all connected. Obviously, they got to all be aware of each other. And just, there's so many questions there that it's like, I need this book right now. I really hope this book answers the questions and doesn't kind of leave things super vague, because with how many questions that pose, there being three Jokers, they got to answer some of them.
Yeah, that was like a super exciting reveal that you didn't see coming. Do you remember there being maybe fan theories that there were three Jokers or there are multiple Jokers out there that Jeff Johns is going to be paying off with this?
After it, there were some fan theories. I don't remember exactly what happened, but before the reveal, I don't remember anyone saying, I bet there's multiple Jokers. But after this, I know there were some fan theories about it, but I don't remember exactly. I haven't looked at any of them in a long time since that book came out.
Yeah, it's been like 4 years, right?
Yeah, since Dark Side War, which was also a really solid book. Probably the best storyline from that New 52 Justice League run with Dark Side War.
That wasn't the only mention of the three Jokers. It was also, the idea was reintroduced in DC Rebirth #1 from Jeff Johns. So this is, essentially the last remnants of Rebirth now that Doomsday Clock is over. What did you think about the way that they reintroduced the idea and let people know that three Jokers was coming in the future in that Rebirth issue?
I thought they did a good job. I just wish we would have had, a little bit more teasing now, since it's been so long since that Rebirth issue. But yeah, it does make me sad to think about all these different ideas that John's had with Rebirth and everything, and how if everything would have gone to plan, how amazing it would have been. But at least we're better late than never, we're still getting it. And yeah, I thought they did a good job with that sort of reveal, and then continuing it on in Rebirth to show that it's still happening. I just wish we would get some more teasing right now, so that way, let people know that aren't really in the loop.
This is great news for my book. We've been waiting for the information on this book to let it, waiting for it to be in the solicitation, so we know finally it's going to come out, and to know that it's completely completed. They took a very long time. They got the story right. Jason Fabok, specifically mentioned that they changed the story over time. That it's much better than the original story they intended, and I couldn't be more excited. I know you're excited. Do you have anything last things to say about Three Jokers coming up before we sign off?
Just that it looks amazing, and one of the things I'm super excited for is to see Jeff Johns' Red Hood. I'm really excited to see how he writes Red Hood, because that's a character that I really like, that I feel like hasn't gotten a whole lot of love. He's kind of been stuck with LaBelle for a while, and LaBelle's done some good things with them, but for the most part, it's kind of eh. So to see what Johns does with him, I'm excited for, because they mentioned heavily that this book's going to focus on Red Hood and Batgirl as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see how Johns does with the Bat family.
Thanks a lot, Dylan. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for having me, man.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.